My name is Anna Tempowski and I'm a business attorney here in Miami, Florida. This podcast is brought to you by Tempowski Law Group, which is an international business law firm, and more information about it can be found online at www.tlglegal.com, and Top Notch Studios, which is a digital marketing and distribution company, and more information about Top Notch could be found at topnotchstudios.com. Without further ado, we are continuing our podcast on AI and all issues, the good, the bad, and the ugly is what we called it.
Yes.
And we are back with Cameron Jones, who is an attorney and a compliance and regulatory specialist. We are together discussing a lot of tech issues and regulatory framework that the government is taking. But I'd like to go back to our discussion of AI just because we wanted to mention ChatGPT and Elon Musk's stance on limiting development of AI.
Okay. So just as a reminder, AI in general is a large language model. So essentially, it is just taking all the information from all of these different sources and sort of digesting it for you and spitting something out, a response or, whatever you're asking it for. And so essentially the claim is that it does not in fact think. So with that in mind, let's go to ChatGPT.
Let's go to ChatGPT.
So essentially, like I said, it's based on what is put into the system. And obviously the more inputs it gets, the smarter it will be, as far as like digesting more information and having more source material to digest.
Why is it so popular?
Why? Because it's a shortcut, honestly. It's a shortcut, and honestly, I haven't used it myself, but I have seen some of its outputs, and I've seen some uses that are interesting and actually quite good. It's good at like naming videos. It's good at SEO, for instance, for like YouTube videos. It is good for content creation. I've seen people using it for content creation. It'll build you like a whole entire grid and tell you exactly what to do and what to say. And it's good for that kind of stuff. I've also seen it write contracts, which are decent, but not perfect. So
yeah, we talked about it in our last episode. Was remembering a war story, so to speak. A client of mine used a contract system online to define his relationship with his partner, and unfortunately unfolded it pretty ugly because the agreement was sort of an agreement that was very general, but it was not suitable for their particular model, and it just didn't work, and it created a lot of issues.
Yeah.
They ended up in litigation in the federal courts. Yada yada. So at the end of the day, not having a contract attorney costed them a lot of money.
Exactly.
Not even the tenfold. I'd say 1,000-fold.
So that's the thing, you're trying. That's what I mean by when I say it's a shortcut. Like you're trying to avoid a cost in the beginning when it's probably going to cost. It may cost you more in the end. Like if it's your business, if this is, making sure that you're up to legal standards. Do you want to risk it? That's really what this is about. It's about risk aversion, really. Yeah. Do you want to risk it to let the computer write your contracts? If you get sued, like, do you trust it? How much do you trust it? We don't know where a lot of these inputs are coming from. It's just from the general populace. So again, like I said, it can spit out decent outputs. However, it's going to be based on the inputs.
Exactly, and the authors and their familiarity with your subject and your issue probably would not be, because this is not a face-to-face interaction with an expert. At the end of the day, it's a common opinion of what could be.
Yeah.
Now, is AI as innocent as just gathering information and spitting it out? What do you think?
I don't know that I have an opinion, honestly, right now. I think it has the potential to get dangerous. Think it has, the potential without proper guardrails. And there are some instances of companies who have kind of built these models and then released them, and scary things have happened in terms of like hate speech and all of these types of things that brings out the worst in people. So again, this goes right back to who is it exactly who's going to be in control. And we know, the tech world tends to look very homogenous, let's just say.
Yeah.
So it's not going to necessarily reflect things like good DE&I policies or just things of that nature, because it's the one type of person is mostly doing the training at this point.
Right, or a group of people that have...
Or a group of homogenous sort of people.
Yes, a common goal and a common common aim, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I've recently heard that some of tech specialists are very concerned with AI in terms of upcoming elections. They're saying that some of those AI systems could influence sort of content writing as well as researching, preferring one candidate to another.
Yeah. And, some websites are using it to generate content to actually write articles and things of that nature. So again, that's going to be, it's fine, except for that AI is still making mistakes. So there definitely still needs to be some eyes on it to see, is this actually accurate? Some sort of editor function that can't, at this point anyway, necessarily be outsourced to just the AI by itself. It needs some guardrails.
And I'm also wondering how is it going to treat conflicting information, right? If it's going to give more sort of attention to a source that is more plausible to what supposedly the author wants, or more plausible to what AI's model or coding or whatever it is sort of set out to.
Yeah.
And I think, again, the issue here is lack of transparency with AI development and with, why is the system working this way? I don't even know. It seems like there has to be something or a regulatory agency that sort of controls access to materials, almost like a freedom of speech and information type of...
I think that'll come eventually.
Yeah.
But for right now, it's really just, it's kind of the Wild Wild West, and we know that sometimes the law takes a little while to catch up to what's going on in the real world. A lot of times it takes a while to catch up to what's going on in the real world. So, you just want to make sure that you have good systems, you have good experts in place to help you navigate this ever-changing world.
Exactly, and good point well made. With that, I want to bring out the issue that Elon Musk has been said in his sort of open letter from a couple of weeks ago, where he mentioned that I think that the way that AI is being developed is very closed in at this point, and that he's very concerned that the people are not putting proper safeguards in developing it, and there is no regulatory agency or any law sort of regulating how AI could be developed. And he has a good point. Although all the people, you would think that Elon Musk, Teslas are having an AI.
I don't know that he has a. I don't know if there's any altruistic intent behind why he wants
we don't know that exactly.
Regulated. I feel, that could have he could be doing some calculation in his own mind about why he wants it regulated, and I think that's usually going to happen.
He used to be initially one of the founders of ChatGPT.
He did. Yeah, he did.
When he said it was a nonprofit.
Yeah, when he set up as a nonprofit. So another interesting part is, the proprietary information. Sometimes you're putting proprietary information into ChatGPT and other AI models. And, as it stands right now, the information you put in is yours, and also the information that comes out is also yours. So that is some protection. But, again, as these things evolve, you may find people riffing off your ideas, and then that gets kind of messy because it's like, well, whose idea is it really? Which one? Is it the underlying idea, or is it the next version? Who gets what? So I think that's going to be a lot of issues coming up. And I've actually heard with the writer strike pending that AI could actually be used to start writing scripts, or at least starting to outline scripts and things of that nature, so that to replace, writers in the writer's room, which is kind of a little bit nerve-wracking.
It is nerve-wracking for the writers. It is also...
And it's nerve-wracking for all of us. Let's just be honest,
Right. And for the people that are probably in, also in the marketing areas as well, because somebody's writing the content and sort of putting it out there. Might be inaccurate, but hey, it's cutting the corners for a lot of people. So what do you think is the solution to AI development? Do you have any ideas in mind? How could it be regulated at this point?
I don't even know, honestly. I'm not sure how it could even be regulated well at this point. I feel like the horse has kind of left the barn, so to speak. And this is the issue with like technology, is like anything that you do is on the last version. Like any laws and regulations are always going to be a version behind. So I think really it should just there should just be some guardrails about what is accepted. There has to be enforcement mechanisms. Of course, with regulations, you have to have some way to enforce it, which is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And some penalties, like you have to have penalties here about, who is able to input information, what happens if something bad comes out of it. We're lawyers. Who do you sue?
AI.
Who is it? So
exactly.
I think that is what is going to be happening in the regulatory space eventually, but I'm not even sure. Like, we're still talking about, like data privacy issues before Congress. Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that they're there yet.
We'll be able to catch up with AI development, and maybe Elon Musk is actually right. I mean, I don't know if he wants 6 months to develop his own AI. Maybe not.
That's what I think.
Maybe he just wants to create sort of help other people to come up with a regulatory framework, which would be better than nothing. I'm not going to say that this is ideal. 6 months is really not enough to come up with proper bills and laws, in such a short time frame. But at least if we can start setting up some main points and sort of...
And have some decent hearings about it, because I don't think that... I feel like, this is probably flying above a lot of people's heads. Like, they don't even know that this is happening.
College students love ChatGPT.
I mean, college students,
of course, can write my essay.
The kids, but what is the average age of in Congress? They're on the little bit more senior side, the seasoned side, if you will.
I sure hope so.
So, there may be a little bit of a learning curve, and just to have some decent information out there to the people that we would be entrusting to make regulations about this. So transparency, I think, is something
very,
really
very
key.
important. All right, with that in mind, there's so many things that we can discuss further and further about AI. I think it's important that we outline some of the issues, and I wanted to reiterate one more time, if you guys are thinking about getting a contract online to cut quarters short for your business, trust me, it could not be as good as you think that it is. It's better to spend some money up front and get a qualified attorney who's experienced, who will give you advice face to face and explain to you what the issues could be, rather than risking to lose a lot of money, a lot of time, and even potentially your business when you have an improper contract. With that, Kendra, thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure as always, and I hope to see you in our future podcasts as well.
Definitely.
If you like this podcast, please follow us on Instagram. Bye. And thank you.